What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So I'm pretty excited today. I've got a cool little project coming up. The guys over at Pecos Outdoors hooked me up with a table, but they also asked if I could help out with a project they're working on, and them and Xtratuf sent me a couple pair of boots to paint. One I'm going to keep for myself, and one I'm going to get to paint and send back to them. I don't know the full details of the project yet, but in this video, we're going to go ahead and paint those boots. I've got a killer idea. I'm going to do a redfish coming up the boot and then kind of where the tail finishes, so it kind of wraps around. So come along with the journey. Come check this out. Hopefully I'll get to do a little fishing in between and show you guys that too. It's been kind of busy this week, you know, doing family stuff and whatnot, so I'll probably just end up doing some bass fishing, but let's see where it goes from here. Really excited about painting these. I got them all prepped up and ready to go with my prep coat. I had a really cool vision in getting this redfish tail to kind of have an above view to where the side views actually sat on the sides of the boot. Once I got the boots in my hand, it just like clicked as soon as I saw it. So I got to work immediately, got them prep coated, let them sit overnight after the prep coat, and then immediately got to work the next morning. I usually start dark and then work my way light, and then doing some of my halftones in between. With redfish, I like to start with a dark brown in the body and then fade it down to like the orangey white as it goes to the belly of the fish. Also do a lot of yellow in the tail as a base coat, and then kind of work my way back and forth there with my shadows and my lights. Over the years, I've kind of perfected the way I do my scales, so you guys will see when I pick up this little flat brush how I start adding my scales to the boot. I've come to find that taking this little flat brush, turning it sideways and giving it a little pressure gives me a really cool base coat for scales. I come back and detail them later, but this is the easiest way for me to get like a good inline scale, get my lateral lines, and get all of my little scale patterns faded down. And I usually do them gradually, darker to light from top to bottom. I do the exact same procedure for tarpon scales, bonefish, striped bass. All of them I kind of have this same little pattern that I've come accustomed to over the years to build. So if you guys know anything about redfish, you know they're very well known for the spot at the base of their tail. It's almost like a fingerprint. Sometimes there's a single spot, sometimes there's a misshapen spot, sometimes they're in different shapes like hearts or numbers, or it's kind of funky to see some of them. I find myself a lot enjoying this double spot, so I end up doing it a lot on my redfish when I'm painting. But then there's also some redfish that have a lot of spots, you know, all the way down the side. Sometimes you'll find a spot almost up to the gill plate. But for boots and for paintings, I usually end up doing a single or a double spot near the tail. Sometimes I'll throw a third one in there just for laughs, but So usually once I get to a point where I get my artwork to where I like it, but I know I'm not ready to finish, I need some layers to dry, I'll pack up, head out, and do a little bit of fishing. So this evening I decided to drop the paddleboard in and do a little bass fishing at a local canal by my house. Usually when I come out and bass fish, I only fish topwater. I've gotten accustomed to just enjoying watching the topwater eats and blow-ups, even if it's really small bass. Today, I decided to throw on a bait fish pattern, a game changer, and I was thinking this was going to be the ticket for the day. It was getting late in the evening, and I usually run this canal until I get to this intersection and then turn around and come home. I ran the game changer all the way up until I got to the intersection with no success, and as soon as I switched over to my small little topwater frog, I started getting eats. So I bass fish quite a bit, and like I said, I've come accustomed to just enjoying these little top water eats. This little frog that I'm using is called the ribbit roll. We get it from Umpqua in the shop, and this one doesn't have a weed guard, but I think it's light enough to just come across the top of the weed still. Every now and then you'll get a little snag up, but more often than not, it fishes really well. It gives a nice little pop in the water, but it's not too aggressive. And it really gets the attention of these bass and fires up these top water eats. So
there he is. Oh man. All right. Oh, he's chonker.
This fish right here is pretty average for our canals. There are some much bigger ones, but when you get stuck to fishing topwater like I do, you tend to get these medium-sized bass, which are still fun and exciting, especially if you only got an hour or two in the evening. This eat right here is by far my favorite of the evening. I pulled it off of this little lily pad area, and I could see the fish come up behind it and just kind of wiggle behind it. I originally thought it was a bowfin, but as it came up and ate, I noticed it was a gar, and I was really surprised to actually get it hooked. So this is my first time actually feeding a gar and getting it hooked here in the canals, and I was pretty excited for this moment.
It's my first gar. So I completely unhooked him, and then he swam off, and the hook caught him in the face again. All right, I'm gonna hold him up for you guys. What an awesome, awesome looking fish.
Overall, I'd call this short trip a success. I get a couple small bass and my first gar to feed on fly and actually get it to stick. So I was pretty excited about that, but it was time to get home and get back to painting these boots and get them finished up. I can't wait to show you guys the finished product. Another really cool and unique attribute to redfish is the teal or the blue you see in their base of their tail. From what I know, this is based off their diet or how aggressive they're being. Sometimes it'll be super bright and it'll go almost halfway or all the way into their tail, and other times it's just a subtle hint right on the tips. All right, here we go. So I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to show you guys this in the outside light. It's a lot better lighting out here. Things look better. We're gonna give that a quick flex test, and huge shout out to the team over at Pecos Outdoors for the hookup on the table. Huge shout out to Xtratuf for giving me the opportunity to paint these. I'm really excited. I'm happy to do more of these, and I think it's such a fun, unique way to decorate these shoes. So as always, make sure if you liked the video, you enjoyed the artwork and the fishing, click subscribe, click like, drop a comment down below. I always enjoy answering you guys back, and see you next time.